Right now, you are playing a game you didn't even know existed. From the way you speak to the way you breathe, you have been hypnotized into a role. You think you are in control of your life, that your choices are your own, but you are following a script written by 18th century scammers and 21st century systems. Today, we are breaking down the 8 ranks of the human game. We have spent months analyzing the world's most successful hierarchies, from the ruthless efficiency of the Colombian cartels to the psychological mastery of medical hypnosis. This is not just theory. It is a breakdown of how power actually works when the masks come off. In the late 1700s, a physician named Anton Mesmer claimed an invisible, magnetic fluid animated all living beings, and he used this myth to enthrall Europe. But he was just the first in a long line of players. To win, you first have to be primed. In modern medicine, this is called a hypnotic induction, where you are drawn into simple tasks to facilitate a receptive mindset. Most people stay at level 1 of the game because they are hypnotized by social convention into feeling they exist only inside their skins, cut off from the rest of the world. Let's start at level 1, the survival ranks. In the world of the cartel, you are the campanero. You are 12 years old, standing on a corner with a phone that never stops buzzing. You are not inside the house where the real work happens. You are the radar, giving a 30-second warning if trouble comes. In the military, you are the conscript, where silence is survival and you stop feeling anything but the cold. You are a chemist of garbage, much like the 19th century scammer standing on a wooden crate in a dusty town square. You need to hook the crowd, and you need to do it fast. As you move to level 2, you become the courier, the mule. You move the product and you do not ask questions. You walk through the checkpoints like it is nothing, even as your heart tries to punch through your ribs. This is where the burn comes in. Just like the scammer who added cayenne pepper to his elixir because if the medicine didn't burn, the farmers didn't think it was working, you start to believe that stress and risk are the only proofs that you are succeeding. You've been told the superstition that you are a separate event, a fluke running from the maternity ward to the crematorium. By level 3, you have reached the operator ranks. You are no longer touching the product, you are moving the belief. You are like the surgeon James Braid, who realized you didn't need Mesmer's magnets, you just needed the power of suggestion. In the corporate world, this is the analyst who realizes the system is built on fraud but decides to help the puppet master instead of reporting him. You decide to disappear like a ghost in a pinstripe suit. You realize that in any hierarchy, talent is optional, but visibility is dangerous. You learn to use self-criticism as a shield, confessing minor weaknesses to hide the fact that you are moving millions of dollars through shell companies. As you climb to level 4 and 5, the plaza boss and the cartel operator, the irony of power sets in. You run a neighborhood or a region, and you wear a pressed uniform or a tailored suit. You have a government car, elite schools for your children, and imported alcohol at private dinners. But your phone is monitored. Your driver rarely speaks. Your security detail changes without notice. You are experiencing what Alan Watts called the skin-encapsulated ego. You have identified yourself with your troubleshooter, the radar on the ship that scans for problems. Because you think you are just that radar, you are now defined by a perpetual state of anxiety. This leads to level 6 and 7, the regional chief and the lieutenant. This is where you realize the system does not punish failure, it punishes exposure. When a missile test fails or a shipment is lost, the organization does not look for the truth, it looks for someone to erase to protect the myth. You are asked to publicly criticize a colleague you have worked with for 20 years. If you defend him, you align with failure. If you condemn him, you survive another day. At this rank, you understand that the higher you rise, the fewer people stand between you and the blame. Power is traded for freedom, and you live in a compound with 20-foot walls you can never leave. Finally, you reach level 8, the boss. You run everything. You are untouchable until you are not. You have built an empire from nothing, but late at night, you wonder how this ends. You see the posters of those who came before you, all ended in prison or the grave. You realize that even as the head of the organization, you are still just a part of the original force of the universe coming on as whoever you are. But here is the glitch. The secret isn't to win the game, but to realize that the ranks are an illusion. As Watts explained, we are as continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean. The idea that you are a separate event is just a myth. Your body already knows this. The involuntary circulation of your blood is one continuous process with the stars shining. If you find out that it is you who circulates your blood, you will find out that you are shining the sun. When you stop identifying with the ego, that little radar scanning for trouble, You realize that everything you do is as magnificent and as free of blemish as the patterns in waves or the way a cat moves. You are not a stranger in the world or something here on probation. Deep down, you are the fabric and structure of existence itself. The scammer at the end of his career realized this too. He stopped the trickery and started selling something people actually wanted, a syrup that made them feel wide awake. You do not need to climb the ladder. You just need to realize the ladder is part of you. When you wake up from the illusion of the separate self, you do not just win the game. You realize the game was always yours to play. Your physical organism is one continuous energy with everything else that is going on. If you are your foot, you are the sun. You are the Big Bang, the original force of the universe, simply pretending you are not.